All right, I'm going to read a couple of donations for you guys. I have a $76 donation from Anonymous that says, "Longtime watcher finally decided it was time to donate." We have a $50 donation from Nick Quante that says, "Thanks, Edobean. Many games teach us to work towards the greater good, and your act of selflessness here is inspiring. In that spirit, here's $50 towards saving the animals." I thought we had a deal, Nick. I thought we had a deal. It's cool. I forgive you. We have a $100 donation from Anonymous that says, "Shout out to the Twitch chat. This goes to your choice. Spam PogChamp for Save the Animals. Spam the SMO Orc for Kill the Animals." I want to start seeing them. $50 donation from Despo that says, "Can't wait to see Mega Man X wrecked by Kilopart42." $75 donation from Deathleaguer28 saying, "Each year I'm watching AGDQ. It's always a great moment for a great cause. Keep going and thanks for the entertainment." Thank you for watching. We have another anonymous $30 donation saying, "Gotta donate in anticipation of the Mega Man block. Good luck to the runners." $100 from Chad Surant saying, "Thanks for wasting my productivity. Cancer sucks. AGDQ rocks." You could say it rocks and rolls. Sorry, not sorry. We have a $30 donation from Rojas Chris saying, "Big ups to all the runners. First time donating after watching for years. Good luck to everyone. Save the animals." All Back Down donates $15 saying, "Woo, Mega Man block. I grew up on the X series. Good luck to all the runners." TAC TAC donates $15 saying, "Been a long time watcher and donator. Looking forward to that mighty number 9 run later today." Thank you, Anonymous, for your $75 donation. I look forward to AGDQ every year. Keep up the great work, and thanks to everyone who organized this. Eldritch, thank you for your $20 donation saying, "Greetings from Germany, and shout out to my friend Lisa and Sonia who are watching AGDQ with me. Put this donation towards killing the animals." Second City Saint donates $30 saying, "Mega Man helped me cope up with things as a child, so I figured donating during the Mega Man block can only make sense. Money goes towards the Raid DLC for Mighty Number 9 because, let's face it, the game wasn't as bad as people made it out to be. Right?" Admiral Sarge donates $40 saying, "Wow, that Protoman helmet is just too cool. Big ups to all the commentators and runners today. It's been great." Saris donates $20 saying, "Is this the Kirby voice announcer again? Greetings." Greetings, playo. We have a $500 donation from Random 100. Whew, that's a big number. "So hyped for the Mega Man block and more than ever for the MMX race. And the first time showing of Mighty Number 9 Maniac Run is going to be awesome." Don't forget, guys, we're getting really, really close towards Mighty Number 9's incentives. We did meet the incentive for Maniac difficulty. We still are trying to get the Play the Raid DLC, which right now we're at $2,255.15, and we need 3,000. So if you want to see that DLC during the Mighty Number 9 run, Go ahead and start donating now. There's also a little bit of a bid war for the Mighty Number 9 soundtrack choice. I mean, default soundtrack's at $134, but 8-bit soundtrack is at $738. So if you want that to be changed, go ahead and start donating now. There's also bunches of prizes going on during the Mega Man block. Mega Man Forgiveness Art, a Mega Man X frame diorama, the Mega Man X cart for the SNES, X Pogs, Bragman X Battle Chip Gate, and you have a Hadoken Perler. Lots of items. Some of them are $5, some of them $10. The Forgiveness Art is $15 for donation. You'll get that chance to win that. Many prizes going on right now. Get your donations in now. Thank you, Anonymous, for your $75 donation, saying shoot out to all the runners in the infamous Blue Bomber. Let's save those animals. Kill the animals. All right, we're going to go ahead and hit it up with Mega Man Network Transmission with Soothing Plum Tea.
All right, so I guess timing doesn't start until movement, so after this loading screen, I'll just hit new game, and during the unskippable opening cutscene, we'll just explain a little bit about what this game is. So I'm Plum. We've got on the couch Tara.
Taraj 42.
This is Denny.
I'm Orsa.
And this is Mega Man Battle Network. This is Battle Network's first appearance at a GDQ. It's a spin-off series of Mega Man, which is traditionally a turn-based, real-time action RPG hybrid. And this takes a lot of the elements from the RPG gameplay, such as like battle cards and turns, and puts it into classic Mega Man gameplay shell. You want to explain a little bit more about the game?
Sure, just a little bit more about the story and the setting. Imagine if instead of researching robots, Dr. Light researched computers, technology, and networks. He basically invented the internet, and then his son invented artificial intelligence through the form of network navigators or navis, and then that's what Mega Man is in this world. So he's got an operator, Lan Hikari, who you'll see in a bit, and he operates Mega Man, who then goes through computers, networks, and fights viruses and other net navis as they get infected with the plot of this game, Zero Virus.
Infected by the plot.
It's about how it goes for Capcom games.
We've all been there.
All right, so time. Or start. Something.
Begin. Wow. An incredible pace.
I just beat my record by like 57 minutes. I'm on fire right now.
World record already? Man.
Hype.
So at the start here, Plum is going to go into his folder. He talked about battle cards, and this is basically what it is. You have a folder of 20, and when you start any particular area, you get about 5 at random. The first time you enter the internet, it's a tutorial, so it does fix 2 of your chips, Cannon and V-Gun. So when we reg Sword, we basically get 3 free chips that we can use to clear the first area.
Honestly, I think the real internet needs a tutorial.
Yes.
And just as a reminder, you guys did get the incentive for the Fight Protoman.
Yeah, we'll be doing that at the end of the run.
Protoman is definitely an experience. Most bosses in this game are very special because the devs of this game, Arika, they knew the absolute bare minimum about Mega Man while making this. Can you sort of explain the battleship gameplay and MP mechanics, Tara?
Yeah, sure. So you can switch between any of your chips using L and R at any time, and you have a certain number of each. each one has a different capacity usage. So a cannon takes 8, and that depletes the green bar, which is like your memory points. You can think of it like MP or magic. And then the green bar is his health, and he's got lives down below the EXC emblem.
And the enemies, they're dropping money and battle chips. There's an invisible ranking system in this game based on how quickly you defeat enemies after they spawn that determines what you get. And at least for these little cannon viruses, I'm going to be wanting a lot of these early on because my buster is complete garbage.
Yeah, you're heavily reliant on chips through the first half of the game. We'll be collecting power-ups that we'll use once we get to the midpoint, and then the buster will become significantly better. You'll see that then. Whenever you collect these chips, it also replenishes 1 usage. So like every time it destroys a cannon, we get 1 additional cannon. So you can use that to get through most of the tutorial.
A lot of battle chips, also like these cannons, they lock you in place on the ground when they're used. So I'm always trying to be in the air when I'm using them. And if I land, the animation is completely canceled. So it's a little tricky to get optimal cancels on the Mets, but I'm going to be trying to do that where I can.
So you're trying to fire the cannon just before you hit the ground?
Yes, correct. And since the Mets are short, that's why that's a little tricky. And there's a lot of text in this game, and it is very hard to optimally mash through it all.
Especially at the start. Like for a platformer, this tutorial has a lot of text, and it's kind of rough to keep switching between movement and text smashing. So here's the first boss. You get a little preview of him. This is Fireman or Torchman, and he has literally set the internet on fire.
Oh, man. I've done that a couple times.
We'll do a lot of damage boosting throughout the run. You can obviously jump down ladders, which is faster. The climbing on ladders is actually really slow.
Can you explain Mega Man 8 slides, Orsa? Because this game is kind of similar.
I don't know Mega Man 8 slides. I think that's you.
Sorry.
Oh, wow. Freaking Orsa's already falling asleep on the
Yeah,
couch.
my bad.
Can you
Too much
explain-
text, man.
You play X5, though.
Yeah, fair enough.
Can you explain Mega Man 8 slide chaining?
Yeah, sure. So with the slides in this game, as Plum said, are pretty similar to 8. If you played Mega Man 8, you should know that the slide chaining is weird because there's a very large delay period after you slide where Mega Man sort of has to stand up before he can slide again. But if you chain them really well, you can sort of negate that period. So it's very similar in this game to where slide chaining is really important to not losing a ton of time with this movement.
Slide jumps are also kind of awkward because in this game, on the exact frame your slide would end, you can't
Nailed
actually
it.
jump out of that.
Good boss fight.
Bosses in this game are a mixed bag because they can either randomly kill you and there's nothing you can really do about it, or they just don't do anything.
Do you think on the other side of that, there's another player with Torchman just like complaining about how OP Mega Man is?
It's kind of funny how different the speedrun is through casual play because this game, first time you play it, you'll die to the first 2 bosses very many times. You start out extremely weak, and it's only by abusing certain mechanics like the fact that if you stand close to Fireman, he'll prefer to do the fire orb attack.
Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, getting all those cannons from the Cannodums was very, very important because they're going to just let me obliterate the first couple of stages in terms of enemies.
So now that we're out of the first stage, Plum can only rig 1 ship, and most of the time it's going to be cannon. And so the other 4 are going to be completely random, and we've not got a lot of good ships in the folder. So depending on which ones you draw, it can make certain sections easier or harder. Because we don't have enough cannons to carry through everything necessarily. And then a lot of the objects are on a global timer, so as soon as you enter the area, they start moving. So Plum got the early cycle on the spike trap there, so it's really good.
We have a $300 donation from Joshua Poo
Nice.
saying, incredible 0-second world record. So impressed.
Thank you for that. I'm really happy that this is now the most optimized speed game I've ever played.
Says, put my donation towards Soothing Plum Tea's choice.
What donation incentives are coming up?
I believe right now is the Play the Ray DLC for Mighty Number 9. It's at 2,700, needs to reach 3,000.
Sure, put it towards Ray. Ray is
Alright.
a really cool character.
We'll put it towards that. I think that will actually
that touches
make it happen. So you made it happen. Thank you.
You did it, Plum.
Bunnies are the worst virus in this game. You encounter Starman here, and he's selling a fraudulent zero vaccine, which actually is a Navi hacking program, and most of the enemies you end up fighting are suffering from its effects. He runs away when you confront him, though, and drops a spiky 2 on you.
And while this game is pretty linear now, it's going to be opening up more in just a bit and be more like a traditional Mega Man game.
I love that this game has an email client. More games need in-game email.
So here we bought a couple upgrades, HP memory and mem up. The HP memory is more health. We'll be using it so that we can damage boost through a couple enemies, especially at the end of the game. And then more MP means we can use more chips, but also the more MP you have, the faster it regenerates, which is especially useful in some stages.
And then the boss of this stage, Gutsman, he's a little annoying because where on Fireman you saw the chip I regged sword, it was able to just completely remove all of his HP. For Gutsman, I don't have any chip in my folder that I can just reg and kill him outright with.
His attacks are also a bit more varied and harder to dodge. He's a lot more mobile than Fireman was, at the very least.
And then before every single boss, there's a full health refill, which is nice. Well, not full health refill, it feels 200, but it's like more than double my HP right now.
Yeah. For the majority of the speedrun, it's a full heal. Cannons have instant travel time, but all the other projectiles have to get to them. Alright. It's also important to try and get hit and do the fight as quick, or get hit as few times as possible and do the fight as quickly as possible, because, as Plum said, there's an invisible ranking system, and the higher you rank, the more Zenny you get, which we do need a fair amount of Zenny in the early game to buy certain chips from the shop. Which this is also where it opens up. We're going to get a couple emails from various friends saying that there's a certain Navi that's gone haywire and is causing trouble. So we've got 4 different stages that we can select from, and the routing works out really nice for it. The first one that we're going to go to is Quickman stage, because we can use Cannon to do that entire thing, and also gets us a lot of Zenny, so that we can go shopping to get Heat Vs, which we'll use in Needleman stage, which is second. So you'll see how that all connects.
Yeah, so again, this stage is basically going to be purely cannons. I don't need anything else for it. And just like every good Mega Man game, they needed to throw quick lasers in this game.
Gotta go fast.
We have a $50 donation from Anonymous saying, all hail the WWW.
I forgot to mention that. That's pronounced World 3. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
We're not hailing the World Wide Web. And yeah, quick laser.
It's all good. So the level, of course, has the quick lasers, which are insta-kill.
Yeah, so that's like kind of where a lot of difficulty in classic Mega Man comes from, at least in terms of speedrunning, is cutting your jumps as short as possible so you can slide as much as possible. Because like on that jump before, I just wanted to cut my jump so short that I'd be able to slide sooner, but didn't work out like I wanted it to.
Sliding off the edge of a platform also gives you a little bit of extra distance, which makes certain jumps more possible and timing easier, avoiding certain enemies.
At least we get to hear more of the stage theme, though. This is one of my favorite songs in the game.
It's pretty good.
And then Quickman is one of the more fun bosses in this game to fight, where most of the bosses are really slow and they don't attack too often. Quickman is, as his name would imply, he's very fast and he does a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's a pretty good Navi to fight because he's one of the few that we fight sort of fair, I'd say. Later in the run, we'll be taking advantage of various mechanics and AI behaviors to mitigate a lot of the bosses. It's a tough fight.
Ah. Okay, so now we're gonna get a really, really fun fight since I don't have my cannons. And the nice thing about cannons is since they don't have very much travel time, okay, I can work with this, hopefully. So the main ship I'm gonna want to be using in this fight is Shockwave, and the main time I want to be damaging him is when he's on the ground. I can also hit it. This is network transmission. This game is very, very punishing to die in, just because of your chips. And since my buster is so bad, this is the only real option I have. There's a little bit of a delay on when I use the shockwaves. So
I've never seen that before. He canceled his first attack into his second attack.
All right, that's fine. This is why I have safety saves.
Quickman is an extremely random boss, so it's not uncommon to die on him.
Okay, so that's fine. Hopefully nothing like that happens again, because later on in the game, I'm going to be getting chips that will affect my movement greatly. And in those cases, it's really hard to even do anything about the level you're currently in if you need to do a backup.
I have a $50 donation from EPM saying, "Hey Team Battle Network, and especially Plum Team. I know I'm not there to deafen the viewers with a blast of accordion noises, but I'm there in spirit. Proud of how Battle Network finally got into GDQ. Shout out to this game in particular, having an amazing soundtrack. Good luck. Donation goes to Runner's Choice." Meteor Gun donates $20 saying, "Battle Network is one of my favorite series. Grew up with these games. Network transmission was a good time as well. I have a good friend that won his battle with cancer and is now a personal trainer, and I take his classes. Good luck and kill the animals."
One thing that really sucks about this game is this is a GameCube game, so you're forced to play with a GameCube controller, which, as I'm sure a lot of people would agree with, is not fun for 2D platformers. All right, and let's show you how Quickman should have gone the very first time. There it is.
That was a much more cooperative Quickman.
Yeah, it really is difficult to understate how just hard the bosses are early on in this game, because as Plum's been emphasizing, his buster at this point in the game is just absolutely terrible, and the bosses early on have a lot of health, so
Yeah.
he's heavily reliant on the chips he has early on.
You also have a lot less health than you would casually, so it takes fewer hits to kill you. But this is the first shopping trip that we're going to do, and we're going to buy one unlocker, and then several heat Vs. And then we're going to go to Needleman stage. So this game uses an elemental system, and we picked up Heat V, which will be relevant once we get to the boss. Take advantage of the elemental weakness. But for the stage itself, we'll be able to get through mostly with just the cannon ship. We'll also be wanting to pick up a couple tree bombs. Those will be useful against certain bosses later in the run. We're going to take a slight detour here to pick up another HP memory, because we want to have around 320 by the end of the run, so we can damage boost through a couple enemies.
This is the little known jungle section of the internet.
We have a $20 donation from Professor 9 that says, great to see Battle Network being run at a GDQ. Good luck on the run, Plum. Here's a PAL bonus to Runner's Choice.
So we had to go back and get a tree bomb since the first one dropped health instead. We want to have 4 for a couple of fights later on. And here we're going to use the unlocker to get one of the power-ups. Nice. That's a tough section to get through. And we've got a tight jump here to pick up another mem up, and then we're going to do the first folder edit.
Hold on.
What did I just remove from my folder?
Oh, I don't know. If you go to your pack, it's at the top.
Oh,
Longsword.
Okay, well, this folder edit is really cool, I swear. I don't know how to do this folder edit now.
Just take out any 2 chips. We just need to put in Tree Bomb and Heat V. Did you reg? So this is going to be an interesting fight.
That's putting it lightly.
Once he gets below half health, he can do a desperation attack.
Nice.
Well, that's never happened before.
There's a lot of things right now that I can legitimately say I've never done before. So the Heat Vs I just spent a ton of money on, they're almost completely useless now, and I just wasted a lot of Zenny. Because they were supposed to just kill that boss really quickly. They're also going to help me out in Iceman stage because I'm going to be farming a chip real quick.
What went on exactly? Where did they go by mistake?
So when he was editing the folder, the confusion at the start, at the end of it, he just forgot to set it as the default chip, and the default chip is the one that you draw first and you're always guaranteed to have. So like when the custom gauge opens here, Heat V is the first chip we get, and we'll be using that to, as Plum said, farm a few double jumps, which is a very useful chip, as you might guess, later on. And then this is another stage similar to Gutsman's where what you draw has a big impact on it, because there's a lot of viruses that we have to get through and take care of that can't be handled with the Heat V chip that we set as reg, because we're using it here to get the 10 double jumps.
Yeah, the main thing about folder edits in this game is, unlike in the good Battle Network games, you can't cancel out of a folder edit in this game. So once you've taken something out, you just actually need to add in a new chip. and your folder basically stays the same for the entire run. So now every other folder edit is going to be really interesting because I have no idea what's going on.
Nice. That's a pretty tight jump, but the polar bear does 100 damage, but it's got 300 health, so depending on what chips you have, damage boosting is almost always going to be faster. We're going to do another folder edit here. And then rig shockwave. Where we put in double jump and Bub V, those will be useful later. And we also rig shockwave because this stage has the first of the only 2 mini bosses in the run that we're going to see. And then in this area, we're actually in the waterworks, and the Navi that's gone haywire is actually Iceman. So he's frozen the waterworks, which has disabled water in all of the Dintown area. This is also the first occurrence of the Yoku blocks. But the timing or the cycles work out just right to where you can get from one to the other. There's a chance that you can draw the repair battle chip, and this is like almost the only place that it's useful in the speedrun.
We have a $15 donation from Sharon who says, I had to donate for the Battle Network series. Hopefully this run helps more games in the series get into future marathons.
So this is like a giant pufferfish, and that was a really unfortunate split at the start. Every time you deal 120 damage to it, it splits into 4, down to the smallest size. Ooh. And of course there's ice physics going on at the same time, so it's really hard. And it's dropping Bub V, which is a chip we're going to want several copies of later. It's useful in 2 places. We're going to do another very small folder edit here where we rig Alex Sword.
I think you mean Bub V.
I think I mean Bub V. We're going to rig Bub V, and then we're going to use a Death Orb to refill our health, MP, and refill the custom gauge so we can open up more chips.
We have a $10 donation from Anonymous. Let's save myself for this. All hail the World 3. There we go. Nice. Thank you.
All right. So this is Iceman, and the old strat was to use Elect Blade on him, but to save Zinni, we're going to skip that and instead improvise with some Bub Vs. Contact damage against Navis, fortunately, is fairly low, but all of his attacks deal a fair amount of damage, especially the Ice Breath and the Freeze Bomb. Iceman's also a little tough since he's so short. He actually dodges under a couple attacks.
Has someone anonymous $10 donation that says, all hail the World Wide Web anyways. Thank you.
Sometimes Iceman can jump too. This can just show you how little damage your Buster does compared to anything else.
Another problem solved through hand grenades.
It's ironic how many enemies you keep fighting with Mini Bomb and Little Bomb. So now there's only one Navi left in the set of 4.
We have a $17 donation from some guy 236 saying, I had to donate when I saw Mega Man Network Transmission. I love the GBA games, but never tried this one. Good luck to the runner.
So we have to take a detour back to the blank stage because we have to pick up a blue mystery data here at the start, which contains a reg up, which is the third type of power up you can get, and it increases your regular capacity, which determines which chip you can set as your default. And we need to have 24 so we can reg Tree Bomb for the fourth Navi in this split, which is Brightman, and he is elect element, so Tree Bomb. Well, there's a special strat that you'll see at the end that was accidentally found by BLK Yoshi that is pretty hilarious. The stage also has some pretty tight platforming to where you do dodge around all of the satellites and mag beetle enemies.
I hesitate to ask, but what section of the internet is this?
So this is the shopping district. Higsby basically said that one of the Navi's Brightman is going havoc and causing trouble with all of the signs, which is turning away customers. So we have to go fix it for him, which Higsby's a cool guy, so we'll help him out.
All right.
He's got excellent hair. Oh, bunnies are the worst enemy in the game.
I also got a really bad draw right here because I want any sort of, well, chip that actually shoots, and I don't have any chip that shoots.
Wow, those lasers.
It's pretty easy to get hit by them. The timing is a little weird. But here's the boss, Brightman. And Brightman casually is extremely difficult in annoying Navi because he, kind of like Quickman, has a defensive state, but you can actually trick him to where if you fire a shot over top of him, he'll go into the defensive state. But then if you lob a projectile while he's in that state, he'll lower his guard, and then you can chain them out of iframes and take him out very easily. So shout outs to BLK Yoshi for accidentally finding that one.
We have an anonymous $10.93 donation saying, heard this game was part of Battle Network, never saw it in action, so thanks for the run. And with my friend Denny on the couch. Here's a little bit extra. Hashtag pennies for Denny.
I can explain. I get a little bit tilted by uneven donation amounts. Yeah.
Which is great because you have a $9.62 donation
Oh, great.
from Jason H. saying hashtag pennies for Denny. He's got to make sure the donation amount is never a whole dollar amount for as long as Denny is on the couch.
Okay, fantastic. That's for charity. Not bothered by it. Not at all.
So now that we've cleared the floor, we have another two-way split. This is with Colorman and Electman. We're going to go to the arcade first, and you're going to start seeing a lot more usage of the double jump chip that we got. So using it here, you basically skip going all the way to the right and up in half of the blue area, because we need to get 2 keys.
Are pufferfish common enemies in casinos? I don't get around very much.
In this world.
We have a $30 donation from Deirdre that says, had to donate during the Mega Man block. They've been my favorite game series ever since I was a child. Truly impressive to see someone speedrun the game that I could never even finish as a kid.
$30. That's a good, respectable dollar amount. Thank you. Plum will always have my respect for speedrunning games that are incredibly frustrating to play casually.
Yeah. That area right there is basically the pinball section. It's pretty fun and really good for picking up a lot of extras inning, but we'll just skip past most of it. The next boss coming up is Color Man or Wacko Man, and he can be pretty difficult. He's got a lot of health for this point in the game. We still don't have an upgraded Buster, and he doesn't have an element that we can take advantage of. So we'll be using Bub V and just reacting to how he attacks. The fire attack is really hard to dodge. The hitbox is deceptive. Nice dodge.
Nicely done.
That was a really good Color Man fight. Sometimes he chooses not to attack and moves closer to you, which makes it more difficult to dodge some of his attacks. So, well done. But it turns out that had nothing to do with the plot, so thanks, Color Man.
If you'd like to explain more of the plot, I am totally lost.
Basically right now is after having confronted Starman about the Zero virus vaccine and taking care of all the Navis that had been affected by it, we're trying to find the source.
Okay.
And so we got 2 emails, one from Dex saying, hey, there's something funny going on down at the arcade. Turns out that was just a prank. But this was
Classic.
sent to Land by his biggest fan saying that, hey, I know where the Zero virus is. You should come see me in the power plant. Tell
Do you
no
think
one.
that that's going to turn out to be a trap?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were really nice to help you out there.
But here's another good use of double jump that cuts out the entire right section right there. Lots of going back and forth on the hangrails. I cringe a little every time we pass the bunny. I have a lot of bad memories from these guys.
Oh yeah, I'm already developing a strange rabbit phobia.
Terra Snowfats would like you to please refer to the double jump by its proper name.
Doob jump? Or
Doob
double?
jump.
Doob jump. Doob jump.
Yeah, Electman, and it's, as expected, is modeled very heavily after Mega Man 1's Electman. It's very vertically designed, so Plum's going to get a lot of usage out of the double jump in this stage.
I think you mean Doob Jump.
Doob jump, sorry, yes.
Yeah. They were clearly inspired by the classics.
That cannot be up to code.
It's okay, it's on the internet.
There's no OSHA on the internet.
Oh, we drew tree bombs so we don't have to reg it. We'll be taking advantage of that against the boss who, surprisingly, is a Life-Man, and is thus vulnerable to it. Much like several other Navis, he's got a defensive state that he stays in at the start, so the first time you hit him, he'll try to teleport behind you and zap you, but if you dodge out of that, you can then hit him, and then he'll react randomly, either summoning electric clouds or trying to zap you again.
And so one thing where you saw like Yoku blocks in the stage earlier and just like me waiting around a bit, it doesn't actually matter because you still need to wait for your MP to recharge to get the 4th tree bomb off on Electman.
Yeah, MP is really tight on the power plant stage. You saw that we just barely had enough to use all 4 tree bombs to take Electman out. And then your dad says, hey, by the way, there's this fake email going around telling people that you should go to this area. I know where the Zero virus is. And it's like, oh, that explains a lot.
What a dramatic reversal of roles that your dad is informing you about fake email scams.
But that basically signals the halfway point of the run. So we're going to... The focus of the story now is to find the Zero account, which is believed to be the source of the Zero virus. But before we do that, we're going to do some online shopping to upgrade Mega Man's Buster because it's still a little on the weak side.
The game doesn't get much more forgiving with deaths though, because now double jump, when I die, I don't have those back, and it's going to skip massive portions of stages. So even though I could have a better recovery on a boss, to actually platform is much, much harder.
I'm sorry, what's that ability called?
Sorry, Duke Jump.
Thank you.
There's an 8-character limit on all of the
Oh, is that why that
battleship
is?
names. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, it makes more sense in Japanese, but the localization, they had to get kind of crafty with their improvs. And we're actually going here just to activate a shortcut, which is like the only time in the entire Battle Network series where they actually say, hey, this would be a good thing to do. Let's bookmark this page so we can go back to it instead of having to start at Google every time. So we'll be making use of that during the Zero Rush, and we're going to go back to an area we've been to before where Numberman was to do some shopping.
I'm so sorry, Denny, but you got a $13.37 donation from Much Win saying, heard we are doing uneven donations now. Here we go.
It's all to prevent cancer, folks. Not tilted at all.
Have a $54.31 donation from Scan that says, am I doing this right?
So there we bought 3 power-ups and then a couple mem-ups in HP memory that we had. And we're going to use the 8 power-ups that we got to max out attack and charge. And this dramatically changes the utility of the Buster, which you'll see later on in the next stage, which we're going to go back, make use of the warp, and refill our double jumps, which we use most of them.
Refill what?
The dupe jump.
Thank you. I'm new to the game.
Yeah, so
I
these
can't-
next 2 stages are where I've already died a couple times. These are the 2 legitimate hardest stages in the game, so hopefully
Yeah.
they go a lot better.
It's confusing to me if you doob up on the terms. You have to learn everything twice.
I got a $23.99 donation
Of course we
from
do.
Pink Reaper that says, someone donate my penny for Denny. I appear to be missing it.
So Protoman makes his first appearance there. He's also trying to find the source, and he doesn't think that we can make it through this next area, so...
And
We'll
this
prove
is
him wrong.
amazing level design right here. So this is an entire really long and challenging section of the game. Yeah.
And we just skipped it. So that's the first area, but old area 2 is actually very difficult. So with some of the second half. This is the old area of the internet,
This is where all the GeoCities pages are.
I think. Okay.
Yeah, so just doing a bunch of 1-block slides over bottomless pits while you have enemies that are almost impossible for you to kill with your current setup. It's interesting.
Yeah, that looked good.
Do you want to explain auras, Tara?
Auras, yeah, we passed an enemy, the aura head, and they have an element, and all of the auras have 100. So unless you have something that deals 100 damage or is the element it's weak to, you can't break it. So those enemies are really tough to deal with, especially when you only have dupe jump regged or in a speedrun setting, and that's a boss. So fun fact about the Buster is it doesn't trigger iframes or counterattacks. So enemies will only attack if they feel like it, and sometimes they don't. So bosses are really going to be a mixed bag moving forward on how they choose to react.
I have a $42.73 donation from Not Denny that says, Denny.
Joke's on you guys. The pennies are not displayed on the stream, so... Ha. I'm untouchable.
Could we fix that, tech crew?
I had to open my mouth, didn't I?
I have a $22.76 donation from Roxas Omega that says, pennies for Denny. Does it help that this is $30 in Canadian?
So this next area, Strange Grav area, is pretty tough. The mechanic here, obviously, is that some of the platforms will reduce your jump height to either half or a fourth. It doesn't affect dupe jump, though. There's also a lot of traps in this area, so we're racing against a global timer to make the early cycles.
All right, and that is the optimal cycle.
Yeah, that was a really good start. Cool. And then Plum kind of delayed his movement there because, again, going back to the invisible ranking system, where we want to get the Mega Cannon chip from these Mega Cannon enemies. We'll encounter, I think, like 5 of them throughout the run, and we want to end up with 5 Mega Cannons. So it's important that we take them out quickly once they appear on screen. And this is Hammer Joe. Kind of an annoying enemy. Bunnies.
That's why I didn't damage the Hammer Joe, because that would have killed me if I did.
Yeah. And then here at the end, we're going to switch over to Barrier, which is the chip that you saw Plum purchase. So as soon as we put it in, we'll add that and Mega Cannon, both of which will be useful later. The Barrier, we have 5 of them, and it lets you just damage use through enemies, not having to worry about your health.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
That's why I have a half energy.
That was a good call. So the level 3 bunny stun lasts so long that they can just chain you. Worst virus in the game.
They stun lock you?
Yes.
Fantastic. The internet needs more stun locking.
So here's Gravity Man, and Mega Man says, watch out, this guy has been upgraded just like Sword Man. Even though he's got a slow processor, he's really strong, I swear.
You just wait. Any minute now.
I'm sure he's going to do something.
Once he gets fully loaded.
I couldn't see him. Where'd Mega Man go? That was actually the most aggressive I've seen him in a while. Sometimes he doesn't do anything.
And that's why you invest in solid state for your Navis.
I have a $12.21 donation from the Sly Soul that says symmetry.
I think that's a palindrome.
You know what? That's passable. I accept this.
Okay. So the next area and the third in the Zero Rush is the No Grav area, which has my favorite music in the game. Like all of these tracks are really good. It's got a mini boss in it, and we drew V-Gun, which almost works, but it doesn't have enough damage. So halfway through, we're gonna have to switch to either Bug V or Heat V to take it out.
I'm gonna reg Barrier, and then on the Barrier draw, I'm gonna hope to get Heat V or Bub V when I'm already used the V-Guns.
All right. Yeah, that works. So there's another aura head here. This stage also introduces the yo-yo enemy, which just kind of moves up and down. The yo-yo it shoots out is unbreakable and will absorb projectiles. It's a little annoying. And here's another excellent example of the dupe jump, where you skip most of the first area. And then at this point, Mega Man has still been infected by the Zero virus, but your dad shows up and says, here, I fixed it, and he gives you a vaccine. But apparently the Zero virus has evolved, so you still need to go find the source of it. Okay, thanks, Dad.
Tara, can you explain why the no gravity area has gravity in it?
Well, you see, in minor amounts of... No, okay.
Okay.
You see, the Buster weapon sometimes spirals off micro black holes, which are capable of producing their own gravity.
Okay, there we go.
Deepest lore.
I don't know, that sounds like something that would actually be in the Battle Network lore.
Yeah, just read about it on my fan fiction.
So the mini-boss of this stage is modeled after the yo-yo virus. And the yo-yos that circle it are indestructible and will absorb your projectiles. The only way to damage it is to hit the core, and it's really difficult to do so. We try and take advantage of things with like AoE. So Bubbler, V-Gun. Okay.
There we go.
very difficult. And then this next boss, the reason that Plum ranked Barrier is because he's got a couple attacks that he can do, Star Arrow or Meteor Shower, and Meteor Shower has 2 variants, and some of them are undodgeable. And I think they also will 2-shot us. His defense mechanic is that whenever you jump up, oh nice. Okay, and then this is the full screen meteor attack, where depending on his position, it can be pretty much impossible to dodge. Okay. That was a very aggressive Starman.
Shout out to David Bowie.
We have a $50 donation from Not Protoman saying, "Battle routine set! Execute!" So hyped to see a Battle Network game at a GDQ, so I just had to throw money to bust cancer with a cannon chip. Donation goes to Runner's Choice.
Plum, I think you've got a lot of donations built up. You can fire that off wherever you want.
I don't know. I'm trying not to choke harder than I already have.
So, having defeated Starman, we have all 3 of the link codes needed to access the Zero account, so we will be confronting Zero here very soon.
And I'm going to try to avoid regging Barrier for 0. Which, do you want to explain 0, Tara?
Yeah. Zero has, he's got a defensive state much like anything else, where the first time you hit him, he will block the attack entirely, absorb the damage, and then he will, depending on your proximity, either teleport behind you, or if you're close enough, just try and attack you with the sword. And he's got like a 3/sword combo that he'll do, or a jump/spin attack if you're really close to him. But the worst thing that he can do is actually a full screen undodgeable attack. I think it's called Phantom Zero. And the lower on health he gets, there's an increased chance that he'll do it. And it is undodgeable, and Plum will either try to damage boost through it, which is very tight, or use Barrier if our health is low.
All right, so yeah, I actually want to
Serious
focus
time.
for this fight.
Nice.
And yeah, you didn't even see
That's
Phantom
good.
Zero, but I was going to go for a strat, which is a very tight damage boost, and if you miss it, it instantly kills you. Actually kind of sad I didn't get to show it off, but at least I didn't show off messing it up.
And then Protoman shows up, and since Zero is the source of the Zero virus, they do delete him. Rest in peace, Zero.
Is the internet self-destructing?
It could be. But, of course, plot twist, that wasn't the final boss, and so the real threat shows up, which is actually this guy called the Professor, who is a former member of the World 3, and he's trying to revive the life virus, which we saw defeated in the opening cutscene, and then use it to do terrible things and take over the internet.
And so our hero decides to take a nap.
He's admiring his collection of figures that he's collected throughout the
Yeah,
run.
his collection of fallen adversaries.
My favorite's Gravity Man. It's as big as he is.
Yeah.
So Lan is just holding on to the bodies of his dead enemies, like
He
some sort
3D
of
prints
Joker.
them.
He
There we
what?
go.
He 3D prints them.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay,
You wouldn't.
that's still disturbing, but slightly less. Yeah.
You wouldn't download a Guts Man.
You gonna show off the text?
No, I'm not. I'm too far behind.
Okay. In order to get to the Undernet, Mega Man has to prove that he's evil enough to have come from there. So he basically imitates Needleman, which, if you'd read that dialogue, he's just a really snarky, insultive individual.
There you go. The one time Mega Man threatens to stab someone.
And he does it with 2003 internet RAR speak.
So we attempt to go to the internet, but unfortunately there's a security jump warp trap put in place, and it instead sends us to the official center, and this is where Protoman is. We'll be back here later at the end of the run to fight him for the donation incentive. Protoman is probably the least fair Navi fight, even more so than Zero. So now we have to find a way to bypass the jump warp, and that's through the use of an authentication code, which has been broken into two pieces that we need to go find. And so first we're going to go back to a different section of the internet, the ancient area. We'll do a little online shopping on the way. With the Buster and Dupe Jump, you can get through most of the area, but we're particularly looking for barrier, but other chips can be useful in certain situations. It feels really nice to go back through these older areas now that you've got the upgraded Buster and you don't have to damage boost through everything.
Yeah.
Especially that bunny.
That stun locking World of Warcraft bunny.
To get through that door to the bottom left, it's a level 5 passkey, and Dex just randomly sends you an email says, hey, there's this section of the internet that no one knows how to get to, but I have the key for it. You should try and find it.
It's like Tor or something?
That sort of sums up Battle Network.
Secret places.
Oh, and of course using double jump there to skip the whole ladder puzzle, which there was one of those in the Lekman stage, which is probably the worst in the entire game.
Ah, yes. The internet was invented by the ancient Egyptians. Not a lot of people know that.
It's been around for a while. This area is pretty cool. It's got some really nice music as well. The Yoku blocks make an appearance again, but since we've got double jump, we're just going to skip through that entire section.
I would like to say unironically that the music in this stage is great.
I unironically agree. Oh, that was unfortunate. The Spooky 2 does a lot less damage than the Ratty 3, but whenever your pawn jumped over to try and dodge the rat, the ghost disappeared, so we missed a damage boost opportunity. Oh, nice. Then, depending on how your movement is through the stage, the cycles will be different at the end. Those can be pretty tricky to get through.
I have a $15 donation from Matt the Doctor that says, I am so happy to see any Battle Network game make it to a GDQ. 2 is one of my top 10 favorite games ever, and the series dominated my childhood. Keep up the great run, and here is to more Battle Network love in the future.
Can somebody tell me the name of that enemy?
Oh, the giant, shoot, what are they? I think it's a Flappy.
It's a giant happy milk jug? Like, what is that?
I don't know, but we found it on the internet.
Okay, fair.
This is an old section of the internet.
Yeah. And that
Nice, that Ratty just clipped through the freaking platform. I've never seen that before.
Oh. You got Mega Cannon. You going to use any?
Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me. I was actually, didn't notice. Do you want to explain Mega Cannons and Buster?
Yeah, so normally we just use the Buster because it doesn't trigger iframes, but the iframes wear off in the same amount of time it takes to fully charge your shot, so alternating them is the highest damage that you can do. The only downside is it does trigger a counterattack. Pharaohman as a boss is particularly annoying because he can drop a Coffin, which will do one of two things, or he can drop an Anubis. The Anubis pulses, doing 40 damage every pulse and takes 3 hits to kill, regardless of the damage. So that was a pretty rough combination.
I just want to leave a message to you guys. The tech crew is working on adding pennies to the stream display.
Et 2 tech room, Et 2.
It'll just cost $18.23.3948288 cents. Just, just,
So-
just to throw that out there.
Somebody get on that conversion rate.
So the first time you beat a boss, you actually get their signature chip, which for Starman's case was Star Arrow. So prepare your, this is just like Mega Man 5 comments. But we did mostly one final folder edit there where Plum took out a lot of high-cost chips and replaced it with some singletons. This will be important for the final stage, the internet. But as far as this goes, we're mainly interested in Star Arrow, and drawing barrier is actually kind of nice. But this is the old abandoned subway, which this is where in the first game the World 3's headquarters was. So at the end of it, we're going to see the same place in the opening cutscene where the life virus was fought. So we were wanting to get a mega cannon from that, so since we didn't get one, we're going to have to respawn it. It's very important and very useful for the final boss of the stage. So this section is very important. Firebuster. Yeah.
Look out.
All right, so that was good. The Star Arrow skips a whole bunch of those Gutsman platforms that take a long time to traverse. And he got the early cycle. So this was a good stage. Now we're going to rig the 5 mega cannons that we got.
We have
So,
a- I'm sorry.
Shadow Man is pretty tough. He's got a lot of different attacks that he can do, but he likes to start off by disappearing and then hiding up at the top. So whenever he gets counter-ticked, he'll start and spawn in one of 3 random positions, and his sword will always be pointed towards you. Nice.
Nice.
And then Plum does a pause buffer to see which one of the 3 he is, so he can finish him off with a charge shot and a single buster shot. Because once he gets on the ground, he can throw shurikens or charge you with a sword. He does a lot of very random high damage attacks. So using the cannon strat there is very important.
Did he just disappear in a puff of leaves?
Yeah, he's hiding in the cyber trees.
Okay. That tracks.
At this point, we now have the, or actually, we give the old data and the broken data to our dad, who uses data wizardry to combine it together into an active authentication code so we can use it to go to the undernet. First, we're going to use some of the Zenny that we've acquired to buy 5 full cust, as well as a couple half energies. The full costs are important because this game, like the handheld series, does have program advances where if you take 3 chips in a particular order, they actually combine into one more powerful. Well, sometimes. There's actually only like a couple of really good PAs. Sometimes you're better off taking the chips individually. But in this particular case, we're looking for the Zeta Cannon. Drawing barrier there is also particularly good because once you get to the internet, there's a new type of virus, the Scuttlist. And they're similar to the Aura enemies that we saw in a few stages where they have a defensive barrier of 100, and you can only destroy it with something of the element that it's weak to. They also do a lot of damage on contact. I think it's like 140. So having over 300 health, you can damage boost through 2 of them, which is what we need to do. At the start of the stage, Plum is going to use Fast Gauge, which is a chip you can do. Because the custom gauge up at the top takes 1 minute to fill, but with Fast Gauge it takes 20 seconds. And now we can use Barrier to damage boost through a couple of these enemies. There's also a non-elemental Scuttlist that fires lasers. Those do a lot of damage. Nice. But now that we're at the end, we're looking for the Zeta Cannon program advance. So the first thing Plum's going to do is rig Mega Cannon and start using the full cust, because every chip you don't take, you draw 1 additional up to 10. So now we've got 10 out of 20, and we're looking for certain specific ones.
Can you clap for that skill just right there? That can take like 2 or 3 minutes to PA.
Yeah, like this section is very RNG heavy. But we got it. So now this is the point of no return. Once you get to this point, you can't actually leave, save, or go back. This is what firewalls look like in the Battle Network series. The spikes on the far left do 1,000 damage, so they'll kill you no matter what. And then the 2 cannons fire homing missiles or lasers. The middle core also fires a laser, but it's dead, so.
Well done.
Doing that without Zeta Cannon is very difficult and very slow. But of course, now we have the boss rush. So all of the Navis that had been previously infected with the 0 vaccine, we now refight them here, and you can see just how drastic of a difference the Buster is now that it's fully upgraded. Fireman jumped. I'm impressed.
I like how we can shrug off his attacks now too.
Yeah, you also have enough health that you can get through some. Plus, we have or heat armor on still, so he does do half damage. Gutsman's still really annoying because his timing is kind of awkward. He attacks very quickly.
We have a $50.01 donation from Doysum4. I'm sorry. Hi, Plum. Doysum here. Good luck on the rest of the run. We also have a $5 donation from Phazon Masher that says, shout out to Tara on the couch. Gotta get that Battle Network Wonder Swan in the next GDQ. Donation goes to his choice.
We'll play Fat Kids Rum Hack in some other marathon. I feel sorry for Iceman.
And then coming up next is Revenge for the last time.
gosh.
Quickman kind of destroyed me.
So because Quickman spends so much time invulnerable or blocking, we actually make use of the Zeta Cannon PA on him because his fight is sped up the most by it. So.
Take that.
Do you want to go ahead and use a half energy?
I'll use a half energy if I take another hit.
Colorman's trying to escape. And then there's one Navi left in the refight, Electman.
I have $11.01 donation from Justin164 that says, I found a penny in between the couch cushions just to add to this donation.
Thanks.
So that's good. Electman can be kind of scary to deal without 4 tree bombs because you have to like bait him into attacking and then use the charge shot so you get the rhythm down. Of course, we do get ambushed here at the end. Yada yada, power of friendship. Thanks.
Nice. Beginning friendship.exe.
Which, honestly, the person that does the most useful thing is actually Roll, because if you look at our health and our chips, she completely refills them. So she gives us a full heal and folder back, but she doesn't recover our MP. Fortunately, we don't need it because Zeta can only cost 8. So this strategy, this is the Life Virus, or the Life Virus R. And there's a trick with the Zeta Can that we're going to try and take advantage of. The Life Virus is comprised of all 4 elements, so he'll do 1 attack of each element. But
And I got it. Cool.
Nice.
if you time your charge shots and Zeta Cannon right, you can take him out before the PA ends. But of course, there is a second form, so this is the Life Virus core. Time is coming up soon.
Time is on the final hit of this dude who is extremely unthreatening. The pink orbs actually just straight up don't kill you.
Time.
So yeah.
105.
But since the donation incentive for Protoman was met, instead of watching through the ending credits, which doesn't go very much, we're going to load up a save that has access to Protoman. Do you want to talk about pop-up, I guess?
Yeah, so this chip right here, if I had played a bit better, I would have attempted to farm it during the run. This enemy is a rare spawn. It has 200 HP, and all of your weapons only deal 1 damage to the virus. It takes about 5.5 minutes to kill, so I don't think I had that kind of time. But the Protoman fight is extremely skill-intensive. I think you'll all be impressed.
He has a defensive state similar to Zero does, where the first attack you do, he'll teleport behind you, and he'll also trigger a reflector shockwave. and you have to dodge both that and his sword slash, and then you have a brief window of opportunity to actually deal damage to him before he jumps up and tries to cut you again.
It's basically entirely luck-based, and you just need to preemptively slide either forwards or backwards, and it's a 50-50 if he does the attack that'll end up hitting you. But Protoman is on the prowl. Oh.
Oh,
He's throwing me for a loop. He turned around. Whoa.
oh, he's making you work for it.
Oh. Yeah. There you go. And I think his dialogue at the end is very fitting.
I think that sums it up.
What was that?
I think it was Doob Jump.
Yeah, so
His,
that was
his final words are double jump.
that was network transmission. Battle Network is cool. Mega Man Star Force is better. So shout out to the entire Mega Man network transmission community behind me. They're all very dedicated to this game, and the game wouldn't be as the speedrun it is without all these guys. So give them a round of applause. Couldn't have done it without you guys. So thanks for watching.
Also want to give a shout out to Jang Bang, who helped push the time down. He was almost the first person to cut the hour, but due to, unfortunately, he got like a 1 hour, 1 second run.
Oh, yeah.
And then shout outs to Joka, who also has done a lot of stuff with the run.
Also,
1 hour,
Inu
1 second.
Mofu and Rollbuster, who have done immense amounts of work with us.
For
that,
sure.
That last remainder must be so bothersome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Give it up for Soothing Plum Tea for his run for Mega Man Network Transmission. Just going to read a few donations really quickly before we start heading out to our interview. We got a $24.20 donation from Timothy that says, "Hey Denny, it's Tim. How did you get sucked into Twitch on my computer? Kill Deceptivus. Chat span Kappa 123." We also have a anonymous $10.99 donation that says, "If it don't make dollars, then it don't make sense." I like that one. I like that one. Grandy donates $5.25 saying, "Greetings from Canada. We ditched the penny a few years ago, but here's a quarter. Go Mega Man." Now we're going to go ahead and throw you guys to our interview with Blecky and Green Z Saber.
Hey guys, awesome run of Mega Man Network Transmission by Soothing Plum Tea. It was a lot of fun. We're not quite done with the Mega Man block yet. Coming up next, we've got Mega Man X, and then after that, we've got kind of the spiritual successor to the Mega Man series with Mighty Number 9, run by Green Z Saber. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Blackie?
Good, I'm good. So you're the record holder with a 32:22 in-game time. Tell me, how long, it's a fairly recent game.
No, that's incorrect.
Oh, is that an older time? What is the record currently?
I've got, I don't remember actually.
Okay.
It's a 31 something.
Gotcha. But that's super awesome. How long did it take you to really kind of hone your skills and become that good at the game?
Not too long. I don't think I've spent more than 50 hours in playing normal difficulty. I'm kind of somebody who likes hard games. You're talking to somebody who's beaten all 320 levels of Cloudberry Kingdom.
There you go. Okay. Fair enough. Now, Mighty Number 9 is an interesting game to me. It is considered an indie game, and a lot of indie developers on Steam have kind of come to the speedrunning community now and then and just asked for input on, I really want to make my game I want to cater my game a little bit to the speedrunning community. And can you guys kind of help me and guide me in a way of what makes a good speedrun game and what kind of features can I introduce? So what is it about Mighty Number 9 that other indie developers might introduce to their game that kind of pulls you in?
Well, I like the fact that Mighty Number 9 is a very beginner-friendly game. It's very beginner-friendly for speedrunners. You can see in Mighty Number 9 you have infinite dashing. Well, for, let's say, classic Mega Man games, your movement has to be very, very precise. Mighty Number 9 does not have that
Okay.
particular difficulty.
Gotcha.
So it's very easy to have clean movement.
Okay.
You can
So
just
it's kind of easy to get into. Would you even suggest if anyone out there is like looking for a possible speed game to run themselves, do you think it would be a good run to get into themselves?
I would think so, yes.
Yeah.
It's very, like I said, it's very beginner friendly. And if you play in normal difficulty, you have damage boosting.
Yeah.
You can, I'm probably going to make some sort of a guide after this event is over.
Great. That would be super helpful if anyone wants to get into the game. Did you personally, this game obviously was highly anticipated for a while. Were you waiting yourself, just kind of highly anticipating this game?
Honestly, no. I didn't actually back this game because I didn't have too much money at the time
okay.
when the Kickstarter was announced. And
Yeah.
not to mention the fact that I tend to play very long games. Like I played dozens of RPGs. That's my other favorite genre. And my backlog grows and grows and grows. I've got over 100 games I need to get through. So I figured, yeah, Mighty Number 9 is people are looking forward to it, but I'm just going to stay back and just try to get through the backlog of games I've got.
So in that case then, being mostly an RPG player, what was it about Mighty Number 9 that pulled you in? I mean, you kind of said what you like it now, having run it for a while, but what made you transition from like mostly RPGs to, I could see playing this platformer?
Oh, I'm also a platformer guy also.
Okay.
I grew up playing the Mega Man series. So Mega Man, classic Mega Man X, those are like my childhood mostly.
Got it. Have there been any patches released for the game which kind of messed up or like gave you features that you weren't quite expecting or even bug fixes?
Oh, I wish there were bug fixes, but no, the problems still remain.
Okay, got it. Nothing in particular that kind of fixed something and kind of took away from the game for you?
Well, let's put it this way. My best record for Maniac difficulty, it's got a crash in it.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
So we're actually very, very lenient with the timing for the game. That's actually something I forgot to address, but the Mighty Number 9 community is very lenient on this game as far as timing goes, because we go by individual level, the combined level, sum of the individual level times. So even if you, say, get a crash in the game, you can still continue from where you left off, and it won't count against you.
Got it. And then, so after you get home from this event, what's next on your plate in terms of speedrunning?
Good question. I'm looking currently into the Shantae series. Shout out to the Shantae community. You guys are awesome. And I'm going to look into a few JRPGs. Which ones? I don't know yet, but I'm definitely going to look into one of those at some point. Maybe after I get more work into Shantae.
Got it.
To be more specific, I'm looking into Shantae Pirate's Curse and Shantae Half Genie Hero. So you might see me in the practice room playing those games sometimes.
Got it. And then one last question. While you haven't been practicing for your run, what kinds of things have you been doing kind of behind the scenes at AGDQ that our audience might not know about are going on?
Behind the scenes?
Yeah. Have you been like checking out the arcade, or have you been mostly practicing?
Oh,
waiting
I've
for your game
mostly
to come
been
out?
trying to build connections because I'm a new face to the community. I feel like connections are very important, especially with an event such as big as this. So I don't try to, so I don't like feel alone, Don't just try to get those nerves out of the way. That's the most important thing for me at this event.
That can be pretty intimidating at first, especially now that the GDQs are so established. Have you felt fairly welcomed, more or less?
Oh, yes. The good thing about being new, and I'm not somebody who watches too many streamers as well, is one of the best things is that I don't really know who all the big names are, so I can just talk to somebody and I didn't realize that they were like, oh, a big deal,
That's almost a benefit, I think.
Yeah.
Like, just being able to walk up to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Great. All right, well, thank you so much for the interview. Be sure to watch Mighty Number 9 coming up right after Mega Man X, which is coming up now with some of the best 4 racers you'll see. So check this out. Stay tuned. It's coming up next.
Thank you so much, Blecky, for your wonderful interview. But first, we're going to go ahead and go to our sponsor of Chrono.gg. Chrono.gg sells one awesome game every day, each day. Incredible deal, typically at historically low prices. They partner directly with game developers so that you know exactly where your keys are coming from. Proceeds from GDQ featured titles will benefit the Prevent Cancer Foundation. Check it out at www.chrono.gg/AGDQ. I'm going to go